All right, we are live. Brad, what's going on, man?
Oh, I'm doing great. How are you?
I'm doing good, doing good. Happy to be here with you, man. Happy to be here.
I'm excited. I am
So,
excited.
for everybody, we're making a couple of speaker announcements here this week. Two new speakers, and then one, Justin Nelson, will be tomorrow. So, super excited about that, but super excited to also announce a couple of sponsors, Brad being one of those and his companies, which we'll talk about here in a second. But Brad is a really, really good friend of mine, one of my closest friends, somebody that I've known for the last 3 or 4 years. And so we've done a lot of different stuff together, supported each other along the way. Brad is doing some really, really amazing stuff in helping contractors build their brands. And so I wanted to bring Brad to the event for a variety of different reasons, but specifically to what he's going to be talking about. I don't want to steal, all his thunder, but he helps brands build or companies build their brands outside of working with marketing agencies and all of that stuff. So it's one super, super impactful because everybody says, hey, I don't want to work with a marketing agency always. But if you do work with a marketing agency, it also helps you equip yourself with the right information you need to have in order to make the most out of that partnership. So, Brad, I'm super excited to have you speaking at BOA Live here in a couple weeks.
Yeah, I'm excited. I think that branding is such an important piece of a marketing strategy, yet I think it's left out oftentimes, or it's maybe not even left out, just ignored. When you're trying to build a brand, trying to get ranked on Google, even say you're doing SEO, your brand hurts if you're just putting out stupid blog posts. If your social media is run by someone who doesn't understand your business, then your brand hurts when those posts are being seen and people think that, what are they even talking about? Or why would I give a crap about 20 ways to prepare my driveway for fall? So we want to create and think through what our brand really needs to convey, and we need to begin prioritizing it because that's how the largest businesses in the history of the world have grown brand. And that's something that we all need to focus more on, but focus doesn't need to just be it doesn't just need to be checking a box. It needs to be very intentional effort as to how you're branding, where you're branding, how you're competing against larger brands, and what you're communicating.
Love it. And I think that's one of the things that most business owners don't necessarily think about, or they want to go like in one direction, right? They want to go the lead generation, like heavy on that stuff. And they don't want to go on the branding, or they really, really want to go on the branding, but they don't want to have all of those other things. I tell people all the time, it's like, regardless of what it is you want to compare it to in the marketing and sales space, it could be marketing and sales. It could be digital marketing versus offline marketing. It could be personal branding versus company branding. There's not a right or a wrong answer, but it's usually a full-fledged approach. And most people want to go down one path and take the easy route and like master that. And while that's important, right? Like you can be very successful doing that. You're never going to be the authority if you're just on one platform, if you're just using one traffic source, all of those different things. So when you're working with your clients, what are some of the biggest pain points that they're currently experiencing, like right now in 2024, as to why they're like, hey, I need your help, Brad. I don't know where to start.
Easy. Everyone's optimizing for leads rather than quality conversations. Leads aren't that fun if they're the wrong types of leads.
Mm-hmm.
So you can even get away from the vocabulary of leads and begin optimizing your business and your efforts for quality conversations. Once you've established that as your goal, we need to now think, what is a quality conversation? And also, how do we actually generate quality conversations? And
Yep.
that's something that a strong brand and a strong message is one of the best ways to do it. How would you define brand? I want to know if you're going to use the same definition that I think of. I'm looking for a cliche definition.
Yeah, what other people think of you when you're not around.
There we go. So exactly, what do they say when you leave the room is your personal brand a lot of the time.
Yeah.
So we want to think through what can we do to create those conversations in a positive light? What can we do to create those conversations in a way that will direct them towards the action that you're hoping that they will take? Something that what kind of shoes are you wearing, Adam?
I am wearing some Nike Air Maxes.
Nike. There we go. Predictable. Everyone knew before he even answered that there was a high chance that he said Nike or Adidas or New Balance, or he's a dad now, so New Balance.
Usually I wear sandals sometimes in the office.
Yeah, rainbows, Chacos, whatever. There's a bunch of options. But we all know different brands. So the reason that that's how we think is because we're conditioned to think of like what is relevant to us. Shoes are relevant to us often. Why are they relevant to us?
You got to wear them.
We put them on every single morning. So we make a decision. What type of shoe am I going to wear? Nikes. I work with a lot of roofing contractors. How often do you think about your roof, Adam?
Rarely ever, unless there's a problem.
So how do you create a brand that is relevant around a roof?
You got to do a lot of different stuff.
Exactly. So you need to be intentional about the type of product you have around your business and the way that your branding is set up. You could spend $1 million in a market of 300,000 people with a branding budget, TVs, billboards, all the things, Facebook ads, everything. How many dollars per person would that branding budget equal if everything was equal?
Not good at math, so I have no idea.
$3. $1 million divided by 300,000. $3.
There we go.
Now, imagine if we could find areas and pockets where you are hyper relevant and then invest more than $3 a person.
Yeah.
But not have to spend $1 million either.
Mm-hmm.
So say, okay, this group of 25 people, I'll spend $10 per person on branding activities. And I know that these people, these homeowners, are relevant because they're right next to the person who needed a roof replacement. So these people are seeing the job going. They're seeing things happen. They also are thinking, man, they need a new roof. Maybe I need a new roof. So you are relevant to them. And because of that, your brand becomes more relevant. You can't just force someone to care about roofs.
Yeah.
So that is an example of how branding plays into some of the trades and some of the different types of businesses where you don't necessarily have audiences that are thinking about whatever you do on a normal basis, but we need to find them when they might be thinking about it and push your brand in front of them in an effective way, because that can be one of the highest converting strategies only when done right. Spending $1 billion branding your roofing company in a market of 300,000, you could do okay, but there's a lot better avenues to spend your money. But it doesn't mean that you shouldn't be branding. It just means you need to be more intentional and targeted with how you're branding.
Yeah. So basically you're talking about knowing who your ideal client is, understanding obviously your numbers in business, understanding what your end goals are, all things that like I talk about consistently as well, which I know obviously we have similar mindsets on this stuff, which is why I think it's going to be really good. Me talking on the personal branding side, you talking on the company branding side, and kind of bringing everything end to end. Somebody has a question here. Dog trainer that owns a franchise, how would you use a personal brand to push a local market identity forward? So my thought process on that specifically, because I did actually have somebody that I was talking to that own or that just purchased a volleyball club. And they were like, hey, why wouldn't I just go through the volleyball club brand, like their Facebook page, their Instagram page? Why wouldn't I just start posting a bunch and then boosting, posts and things like that? That's what they were told to do when they bought the company brand, because that's what the club, because that's what the previous owners did. And what I told them in that regard, and I would love to hear, your thoughts on that question, Brad, after this, is people do business with those that they know, like, and trust. And the business algorithms on Facebook, let's say, are so completely different than the personal brand, algorithms. It can sometimes take a year to 18 months of consistency of posting on your business page is what you could accomplish in 90 days. But when people see it from both angles, so let's say you are on your personal page posting a bunch about how you, for your dog trainer franchise and all these, different things, you're getting connected with those people that are owning, obviously, dogs, that have pets, those types of things. They're able to connect with you as the individual. You're able to see, and get hyper focused. You're friends with a lot of these people, or you're in local buy, sell, trade, or local networking groups, and you see people with dogs. You then go add them as friends, and now you're connected, and then you start providing content around why having a dog trainer is super impactful to the family and to just the behavior of the dog and things like that. But then they also start to see some of, like, your ads going out, right, from the business. Then they start to see you posting. They start to see you doing local community events. They see you throwing your own events. Now they're connected with you as the owner. And sorry, I don't know why it's not popping up that I can't see the person's name, but they see you as the owner, you as the individual, you as the authority, as the best dog trainer or the most authoritative dog trainer in town. And they can't stop seeing your business stuff everywhere. So I don't think it's a one or the other approach, usually ever. I think it's a combination, but unlocking the personal brand allows you to get results quicker and easier. The business
know, like, and trust factors faster.
Exactly. The business brand takes a lot longer, and there's usually a lot more resources or dollars, but that's a sellable asset. The personal brand isn't a sellable asset. So that's where most people go wrong. But the personal brand is something that you can take and go start other businesses with. You can then go get a speaking event. You can then go get be a guest on a podcast. People aren't going to ask your business to be a guest on a podcast. So that's my little answer. I hope that was helpful. Brad, what's your take specifically on that?
So a lot of what you said is kind of exactly what I would say. Something that I think about with this specific, like the strategy I think I would go if we want to get more tactical would be, and I'm going to talk about why first. Business versus personal. If a business starts posting a bunch of videos of dogs misbehaving that are funny, that are like maybe videos that have gone viral or could go viral, then you think that, okay, they're just trying to pull me in so eventually they can sell me something. Mm-hmm. If a person is posting it, the walls are a lot less there. The walls aren't messing around. There's a lot of willingness to engage and think it's funny and share. Once you have them pulled in and they see and can think, okay, we have similar sense of humor, we both think dogs are funny, then you can now begin dropping content that is more, okay, now that I posted 3 or 4 videos of a dog that is just needs training, now I'm going to post a tip on how to train a dog. And when you kind of have that as your approach and you're looking at how do you connect with people? If you love dogs and you're a dog trainer, my guess is you send videos of dogs back and forth to your significant other or your friends, and you love following those on Instagram. That's one of your opportunities, is to use those types of just person-to-person common interactions that are happening every day to begin building an audience. And then as you're building that audience, now you get to convert that audience subtly by providing a different type of content that's maybe more educational. And then when they look closely, they say, oh, Why is Adam talking about dogs all day? Because he owns a dog training company. Oh, if I need dog training, who's my guy? Adam, or obviously whoever made the post.
Yeah.
That's what I would add.
Yeah. No, I couldn't agree with you more. I think it's just a compounded effect, right? Like a lot of people, and this is what I made a post on, I think last week or the week before, I've talked about it in our Build With Authority Mastermind, is people literally will come to me and be like, hey, Adam, I understand you talk about like a full-fledged approach. I understand that. But like if I was to focus on one platform, what would that one platform or one strategy be? And again, you can do one strategy and be successful. We're not talking about that specifically, but the reason I built a personal brand the way I built a personal brand isn't because I'm just on Facebook. It's because I have a podcast with 100 plus episodes. I have over 500 videos on YouTube. I have an Instagram. I have a LinkedIn. I have a TikTok. I speak on stage. I throw my own events. I have my own and so once you start stacking, right, the ability to build on top of that usually comes simpler, maybe not easier, but you get access to different things as you continue to go to do different things. Plus, it drives down all of your marketing and advertising. And I think that's one thing that you've talked about, but a lot of people miss out on. So, for example, I'll give the instance, if you're a service-based business or really any sort of business, right? If you are running Google ads and you're doing SEO, but you're also doing print mail and you're implementing processes and systems that Brad talks about, doing all of these other things, you're going to typically have to spend less on those platforms than if you're just doing like ads on one platform, right? Because nobody knows who you are. But I've even seen it, and I've even done it as the individual. And again, I'm a marketing person at mine. So like if I go see somebody's sponsored ad on Facebook or Google or whatever, and I need their stuff, I'm likely not clicking that ad because I know like, oh, you know what? I just need to call Brad, or I need to call Matt, or I need to call John, or whoever the heck it is, right? It drives down your marketing costs when you already have the brand equity built in. 100%. Versus if you're just showing up and playing the game that all these platforms and algorithms are doing.
Yeah, 100%. I have two different types of examples. One, just last week, someone closed and began working with us, and we're super excited about working with them. They booked from an ad I was running, but they had heard me on a podcast before, which is why they were interested in talking.
Mm-hmm.
The person who closed before that had listened to me on a podcast and wanted to reach out. So these are different situations where people may be in your ecosystem, but when they see you out there and they say like, I've had people who are like, I see your ads everywhere, yet they messaged me to schedule a call. And they make a joke, be like, man, you can stop spending your money on putting your ads in front of me. Yeah. Like, we're good. Yeah. And I'm like, yeah, it doesn't work like that, but yeah, for the offer. But that's such a common conversation. You've probably, you don't run ads as much as I do, but in general, these types of things, it's crazy how people have become so segmented in how it works. Based off of it contradicts human psychology, yet they've become so fixated on the vehicle, the platform, Facebook ads, Google ads, SEO, branding maybe is a vehicle to them now, but they don't even know what they're saying. No offense to some people.
Yeah.
But all of that becomes a huge disservice to the potential that you have, because the more places that you can build that know, like, and trust factor, the better off you're going to be. And like Adam said, it compounds.
Absolutely. So this has been great, Brad. I don't want to, I want people to obviously come to the event. We're giving away a lot of good information here, which we all do.
Too much.
I know. But so talk to us a little bit about, like, somebody's watching this video. We got, I think, 4 VIP tickets left. We got 10 or so general admission tickets left. What would you tell somebody that's like on the fence about coming to the event? Maybe they haven't pulled the trigger, et cetera. Like, what have events like this done for you? Obviously, just share a little bit about that.
So I read something recently that basically said if someone is not doing something and then when asked if they'd like to, they say they need to think about it, it usually means the current version of themselves can't or won't do it. So if you're interested in building a personal brand and you're not doing or taking the actions to build a personal brand, or you've tried and failed, that does mean there's something missing. And I would imagine that someone like Adam, someone like me who's been doing this for a long time, Adam especially, though, I learned from Adam myself, someone who understands branding and understands the psychology behind this is someone that could help you towards this. If you don't see or are not sure whether a personal brand fits into your business model, know this: being the service guy or girl, being the dog trainer girl, being the roofing guy, being the landscape guy, that matters. If you look at some of the most successful people in the world, I'm sure people have heard of Gary Vee, Betsy Itzler, Grant Cardone, Mark Cuban. Does anyone know the main company, even the names of the main companies that they have? Some, obviously, some people can be like, oh, Cardone Interests, VaynerMedia, blah, blah, like, sure. But overall, that's not what you think of. You think of the name of the company, and then you think VaynerMedia, oh, that's Gary Vee's company. Or Gary Vee, and then it just stops there. Yeah. Not Gary Vee, owner of VaynerMedia. No, just Gary Vee. So that's how important it can be. And these are things that you need to focus on, prioritize. And if you have not prioritized it yet, but you understand or you're willing to explore that it could be a valuable activation point for your business's growth, then this is going to be underpriced and overvalued.
Man, that was a good way to finish this up here. If you haven't purchased your ticket yet, you can go over to buildauthority.co/event. Again, we got VIP tickets for the day of, which also gets you a mini mastermind with some of the speakers like Brad and myself the day after. We're going to go to the Blues game on Wednesday night. Super excited to have Brad there at the event. It's going to be a great time. Brad, thank you so much for coming on, man. Really appreciate you making some time, not only for this, but also coming to St. Louis here in a couple of weeks. And can't wait to have you, man.
Very excited. See y'all there.
Awesome. See y'all. Take care.